Hey, welcome! Today we're going to make a raw food lasagna, which I got the recipe from the internet. This recipe is from Kristina on Rawfully Organic, and I'm doing this presentation today for another channel called Raw Food Quest. My name is Mary, and I got a lot of these vegetables from Classic Organics, which is a really cool organic farm in Gaviota, California. So, for this recipe, you need a lot of vegetables. You need zucchini, you need cilantro, red chard, arugula, spinach, cherry tomatoes, parsley, pine nuts, and I don't think I've left anything out, but if I have, I'll bring it in later. So, let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use a mandolin, which is a handheld slicer. Super dangerous, so be really, really careful. It's very sharp. And I'm going to take a zucchini, which I cut in half, cut the ends off and cut in half, and I'm going to make these lasagna type slices to layer in the bottom of my lasagna bowl. So let's see how this works. I'm gonna put it up here on the bowl because, like I said, you have to be super careful with this. So yeah, and actually, instead of holding the zucchini with my hand, I think I probably should use what comes with it, which is this little, I don't know what you want to call it, like veggie handle, and you kind of just use it to push the zucchini through, and so that way you're really a lot safer, that you're not going to slip and let your hand go to that blade because it's a super sharp blade. So you're just going to keep sliding the zucchini through until you can't do it anymore, I guess. And then you have these really nice lasagna strips, which you're going to take and layer in the bottom of the lasagna pan, which I have over here. Okay, so I put the lasagna pan a little closer to the zucchini plate because what we're going to do is we're going to take this zucchini and layer it like the lasagna noodles, and we want to make this kind of a nice thick layer because it's the bottom layer, so it's going to support all of the other veggies and the marinara sauce that we're going to make. And so I need to cut a few more zucchini. I'm going to cut the ends off of this one and cut it in half very carefully. Okay. Now I'm going to move my mandolin bowl back over here for a second so you can kind of see how this works. Okay, so now that we have this beautiful layer of sliced zucchini, I'm going to put some baby spinach here. It's organic spinach, of course. Just make like a nice little bed of spinach on top of the zucchini. That looks really fresh. Okay, and then the next thing we're going to put on top of this bed of spinach is some chopped spinach, cilantro, arugula, and parsley. So I need to get the food processor and get that started. Okay, so now we have our food processor, and I'm going to just put in some nice fresh cilantro. Love cilantro. It smells really good too. It smells really fresh. This was from the Classic Organic Farms. And just gonna shove that in there. And I'm gonna put in some beautiful arugula. So healthy for you. Okay, so actually I just took the lid off because, as you can see, it was kind of getting a little bit backed up. And boy, if you could smell this, it's really strong. It smells really good. You know you're eating fresh stuff with this. So you're putting spinach on top of that and a little bit of parsley. Love parsley. Really good for you. And now I'm going to put the lid on, and I'm going to squeeze all this in here. Okay, it should be ready to go. Wow, that is amazing. It looks really, really nice. There you go. Nothing to it. And now we have this, you have to see this. Oh my gosh, isn't that gorgeous? So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna unplug this so that I don't risk getting hurt. And I'm going to spoon this on to my spinach mix. Wow. This is nice. Really nice. And I think actually I want to make a little bit more because this looks so good. It smells so good. I'm probably going to want to make just a little bit more of this. Okay, so this time I'm making a little bit more of this nice green pesto type stuff, and I'm going to put in a little bit of green onion just for a little bit of a kick. This is organic green onion. Everything here is organic. Everything. So I'll use a little bit more of this. Okay. So we've got the spinach, the arugula, parsley, cilantro, everything in here again. This time we just add a little bit of green onion. Okay, so there we go. Now I'm gonna unplug it again. Always super cautious with these because you can get hurt if you're not careful. I'm gonna scoop it in here. Boy, that onion really smells nice. It's really fresh. All of these vegetables are very fresh. I think that's super important, obviously, because when you're doing raw, you want to have fresh, you want to have organic, you want to know where it comes from, which is why I like to go to classic organic farms. Classic organics, that is. And they have all sorts of cool things there. Fruit, vegetables, you can pick your own strawberries, you can pick your own raspberries, and they have farm fresh eggs. Just a fun place to go. So, okay, so now I have this all spread out. I don't know how great that looks to you, but it looks really good to me. So now the next thing I'm gonna do is make the raw marinara sauce that Kristina has taught me how to make from the web. And what goes in that is your red chard and your cherry tomatoes, which I have at the other end of the table. Actually, I've got 2 batches of cherry tomatoes. This one is what I'm going to use for the Swiss chard. I mean, for the with the Swiss chard for the marinara, and these are going to go on the lasagna. I'm going to slice those. So I'm going to take this big bowl of tomatoes over here, and we're going to put these in the blender. And let's see, I'll start off small because I want to put in some of the red chard with it, which is, as you can tell, I mean, when you get chard, obviously you've got your green leaves on there and you have to pull them off and get these stems because we're just using the stems of the chard. And then you can use your leaves later on in some other recipe because they're very good. But for now, we're just going to use the stems for our raw marinara, which can apparently also be used as a salad dressing. The chard and tomatoes and a little tiny bit of parsley. Not too much because we don't want to make it green. We just want to make it have that flavor, add that little bit of flavor. Okay, so I'm going to close this up. Go. I'm going to put it on grind. I'm going to add some more chard because I want it to be kind of chunky. I'm going to actually drain this too, by the way. It's not going to be this watery. I think for the dressing, the salad dressing, it's okay for it to be that watery, but for this we want it to be more like a tomato paste. So I'm going to add all this Swiss chard in. Actually, I'm just going to grab it all and add it all in because I think this will give it the chunkiness we want. And it's definitely good for you. Alright, let's try this again. Okay, put it on chop. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my bowl that I had the spinach in and bring it over here. There's a little bit of water in it, so I'm going to pour that out on this plate. Ooh, okay. And using this strainer, we're going to strain this marinara so that we get what's left, which is going to be the chunky part. Yeah, look at, it's pretty thick actually. Look at that, because not much came through. See that? Pretty nice, huh? It's not super red, but it's somewhat red. Probably add more tomatoes and make it redder. But anyway, so I'm going to let that drain there for now. And that's going to go on top here, as you can see. The other thing that we need to use the blender for is the pine nut fake cheese. And so I'm going to rinse the blender out, and then I'm going to add in pine nuts and zucchini and make a nice cheese that we're going to use in our lasagna. So I'm going to go rinse that out right now.